Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Not Your Average Bucket List. I'm here with my co host Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Why, hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
It's okay. I'm breathing without allergies and I'm happy about it.
Okay, good. So you're on a lot of antihistamines. You're going to fall asleep in the middle of recording. Maybe, maybe not. Should
I
we
mean,
place a
it could
bet?
go either way.
Okay.
It depends. Are the decongestants going to battle with the antihistamines? I don't know who's going to win, but it'll be interesting. We'll see.
Okay. Well, my bet is
Yeah.
on you'll stay awake just because this episode in particular, I'm sure you've spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania, right?
Uh, well, no. So
Okay. Okay.
anything that's like Pittsburgh and West, which is very close, and then my sister-in-law. Yes, that's what it is. Um, she's from Altoona area, so I've been that
Okay.
way a bit too.
Okay,
But
cool.
aside from that, not really. No.
Altoona. I just read something about Altoona. I was looking up actually on Only in Your State,
Mm.
a couple of like weird fun facts about Pennsylvania, and maybe it'll come to me. Oh, the oldest gas station in the United States is in Altoona.
Really?
Yes.
What is it?
It is a Actually, I don't know.
Huh.
It's just a historic gas station.
So funny enough, I never thought about gas stations that much. Who does? Until I met my sister-in-law because she and her friends were obsessed with Sheets, which I don't know if that's a Pennsylvania thing, and like maybe Eastern is Wawa. I don't know, but there was very much
Oh
a
yes,
vibe of like we love our gas stations. This is fantastic. So
yes.
hey,
Wawa was huge in South Jersey, and then we had Quick Check in northern New Jersey, which was like the place to go for sandwiches.
don't think I know what that is. I'll keep that in mind. Quick check.
Yes. So Pennsylvania. So this is season 3 right now. For anybody that is joining us for the first time, this is our state exploration challenge. We are talking about the most essential stops for any road tripper, and we've already covered Ohio and Michigan. We're rolling along into Pennsylvania. We've pulled our readers over at our Only In Facebook pages. These are state specific Facebook pages. Go check out if you haven't yet, follow along. I think that's like the highlight of this season for me so far is the engagement that we've gotten from
Yeah.
asking people like, hey, where should we be checking out? What should we be talking about?
Yeah, it is great to see everyone commenting and having their own little discussions, and I absolutely love it. And it's
Yeah.
given us a lot of great ideas. Even for whenever we were doing Ohio, because I am a native Ohioan, there were some things that I just kind of forgot about, and people suggested, like, yep, absolutely right. So this is great. Thank you for participating if you did. And if you haven't yet, jump on in the discussion. I'd
Yeah.
love to see more.
Yeah, I think for this one in particular, because I grew up in New Jersey, so we took a lot of trips to Pennsylvania. Actually, where I grew up was right on close to the border of Pennsylvania and New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, very small town called Hackettstown. Um, and so we were probably, I mean, exit 19 off the, like,
Didn't you say something was made there, like M&Ms or something?
yep,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like blow your spot if you're gonna tell a story. That's my
No,
bad.
no, 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 no. That's great. That's yes, M&Ms.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So we were very close to Pennsylvania, so we took a lot of trips there. So a lot of the stuff that uh, coincidentally people were shouting out in terms of the most essential spots to visit are also some places that I've visited. So can't wait to talk about. But do you want to
Nice.
kick us off on this journey and start with your first essential stop in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, sure. I'm not as familiar with the state as you are, but there are some things in the state that really excited me. I do want to start by talking about the Frank Lloyd Wright house, Falling Water, which
Yeah.
I love this kind of architectural design and even like the copycats. I've never been to a Frank Lloyd Wright house. I think there's actually one in our area or is inspired by something unofficial, but Falling Water is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's in Mill Run, Pennsylvania, and if you see the picture of it, you will recognize it immediately. It is that
Yeah.
just like very much what's the it's not modern contemporary. It's some style of architecture I'm not even thinking of, like mid-century modern, but not really. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. It was designed in 1935 by Frank Lloyd Wright, surprise, for the Kaufman family, who owned Pittsburgh's largest department store. And this is one of his most well-known works and houses, and it's just absolutely beautiful. It's called Falling Water because of the built-in waterfalls in the design, and it's just like this modern contemporary concept that is just gorgeous, and what I would do to live in this house.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just an absolutely beautiful spot, and if you've never seen a Frank Lloyd Wright, you're just gonna you'll fall in love with it, even if it's not your style. Have
Yeah.
you been and seen it?
I haven't. No, I haven't, but it's definitely, I feel like, architecture is one of those things that we appreciate today, but not as much as we did back then. It's not,
Yeah.
like they don't make buildings like they used to, in my opinion, but
No, always makes me like my ideal place is either custom like custom built by me or has so much history and character and I hope has ghosts, you know? Like I like I want a story behind it and not just like a copy and paste McMansion kind of ideal,
right.
you know?
Yes.
So, and you
No, I agree with that.
don't get ghosts in new houses. That's the downside.
That's very true. That's very true. I don't know who's requesting ghosts other than you, Sarah, but
Well, uh,
anyway, trucking along.
yeah.
Um, my first stop on this journey is a small town called Jim Thorpe, named after the athlete. And I love a good small town. We know this after our small town getaway season. I feel like I can definitely take a weekend, build an entire itinerary around just a small town. And
Yeah.
I just love the vibe. I love that people are, 9 times out of 10, very friendly. And I've been to Jim Thorpe. This place was adorable when I went. And there's also a ton to do outdoors. This was the first time I went whitewater rafting, was in the area. And it's just, the Lehigh River Gorge nearby. People hike, they bike. It's just like a great spot to get outside, but then also you have Victorian architecture, mom and pop shops. It's just like kind of a, all in one day trip weekend. And they even have festivals. There's a fall foliage festival because I would say
Yeah.
right now is probably the time to be up there and go.
Yeah.
But
Jim
yeah,
Thorpe. Huh. Whenever I
yeah,
saw that on your list, I'm like, I don't know who that person is, but okay.
yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, he's an athlete. I want to say I want to say track and field football. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Olympic gold medalist. Yeah.
Very cool.
Uh, Jim Thorpe, the first Native American to win a gold medal for the United States in the Olympics.
That's awesome. Okay. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So very cute town. Highly recommend. That's my
Gotcha.
number one spot.
Okay. So next, I would love to talk about, I think, the Thousand Steps Trail. That stuck out to me as something you would want to attempt, maybe not actually complete because that's kind of a challenging. Like I feel like it doesn't sound that bad, but 1,000 steps up a mountain. I mean, I'll probably get winded after 20. Don't kill myself. But so I read that there are technically 1,037 steps. Not sure if that's true. I'm not going to count it
Oh,
myself, but
doesn't quite have the same ring to it, but
no, it doesn't. It's not as marketable, right? But it's in Huntingdon County near Mapleton, and it was built to be a way to commute to and from the Ganister Quarry at the top of Jack's Mountain. So they were using a different kind of transportation, and then that fell to the wayside. So they built this path. And my word, if I had to walk 1,000 steps to and from, I'm not sure how that was even possible. So they were mining Tuscarora quartzite, which is a type of sandstone, and basically they just they had to find a way to get up and down without the dinky trains, and they built these steps, and that was a way
Wow.
they commuted to and from work. But you can take this trail now. So there are trailheads that you just park at and can walk up. It's not really advised to do in the winter, so maybe something like now when it's not slippery and dangerous, because they are literally, you know, these like sandstone steps that, well, I'm not sure if they're the sandstone, but the silica bricks, I think, possibly, that they made the steps with. But anyway, you can get amazing views, but they're very slippery in the winter. So go whenever it's a little bit safer. There aren't any guardrails. It's just a bunch of stone steps in the side of a
Wow.
mountain. So
Is
yeah,
it straight up, straight down kind of thing?
it's
What's
a
the?
meandering
Oh my gosh.
incline, but it does look somewhat challenging. So yeah, but it looks really cool.
Okay.
And it's just one of those things you can brag about if you take the 1,000-step trail.
That's cool. I would
Yeah.
definitely do that, even though I am,
Yeah.
no surprise, afraid of heights. But I do feel like that is something I would probably want to tackle
I mean,
just to,
it's not like Angel's Landing or any of these things where you're like
right.
looking over the side. It's just in a nice
Yeah.
a mountainous area. So
Yeah.
I think you'll be all right.
I know you almost lost me at the no guardrails because that just is like, oh, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I feel ya.
All right. So my next spot is Bushkill Falls, and this is a place that I used to go to when I was a kid. That this was probably my first foray into hiking and waterfalls.
Okay.
My grandparents used to take my sister and I on these adventures during the summer. It would always be some random something or other, a museum, or my grandpa one time took me on his scooter and we just found this random cemetery on a back road that was like hundreds of years old, and we just spent time walking the
Oh,
cemetery. Yeah,
cool.
very, very cool. One of the places they took us to is Bushkill Falls, and I want to say this probably was like my first ever hike, and maybe the place where I fell in love with hiking, because Bushkill Falls has 8 different waterfalls.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
it's kind of a big deal, and you can take different hikes throughout the park to see. Some hikes you'll see like 3 waterfalls, some you'll just see one. But they have tons of walkways and observation decks, so it's basically great for all ages. Um, and it's just really fun to get out there and explore and just have the chance to see 8 different waterfalls in one go around. I feel like
Yeah,
is worth it no matter what age you are.
that's great. Yeah, it's tons of stuff to see, like waterfalls. I don't know what it is. It's they're simple but so beautiful. Like around here, we don't have that many kind of like points of interest on trails. It's like, we did it, and now we're back. So that's
Yeah,
great. Having 8 waterfalls sounds like a dream.
yeah, yeah. It was a good time. Highly recommend. 10 out of
Cool.
10.
What about that cemetery? How was that?
That was actually great,
Yeah.
surprisingly, because we did go to get ice cream afterwards. So it
Mm,
was, but
plus, yeah.
um, no, it was just actually really fun to very, very small historic cemetery that a lot of the weeds were overgrown, but we just kind of walked and read the different gravestones, and what a
That's
weird
awesome.
but fun memory,
I used to, I don't know why, I used to like ride my bike through a cemetery in our town just because I feel like that was like the safest area to go. So I always spend time. And there is some of a certain like quiet beauty of a cemetery, especially
Yeah,
when there's so many like hedge gardens and things like that. So very cool.
yeah.
So the next item on my list is the Pioneer Tunnel coal mine. Um, so not sure if I would do this myself. I know we talked about Seneca Caverns and Carlsbad, not Carlsbad,
Yeah.
something. Yeah, yeah. Okay. But you can ride 1,800 feet straight into a mountainside
Hmm.
at this Pioneer Tunnel. And it's a horizontal drift mine, and you can board one of the original mining cars, and just basically, yeah, straight into the Manahoy Mountain. And you can do a tour, and there are a few different kinds you can do, but it's like, yeah, you're in the like mine shaft. So that is it's making my heart beat a little too fast right now, but that is not for me. However,
Whew.
it seems fascinating, and if you wanted to experience, these like 1920s narrow gauge steam locomotive for a 3/4 ride around the mountain, you can do that as well, which is like a 3/4 mile, sorry. right around the mountain. So that's not as, stressful. You can like get outside and be on the steam train instead of going straight into the tunnel. Um, but yeah, you can learn all about the mine and the history and what people had to do to, actually access the mine and things like that. And I don't think I have ever been up and close with an actual historic mine. So I think it's fascinating
Yeah.
that people did that and that was their way to make a living. And, some still do that to this day. So wild, but it's a cute
Yeah.
piece, not cute, but it's a cool piece of history that if you're interested, yeah, you can ride this old train car and cross your fingers. So,
That's cool. That's kind of cool.
yeah.
I get what you're saying about it being stressful. Just I think that's something you probably think about later on in life when you're doing things like this versus when you're a kid. You're like,
Yeah,
yeah, let's go in the mountain. But then
absolutely.
logic sets in as an adult and you're just more concerned with your overall well-being, which
Yeah. I mean, also you're going into this train car, it's close quarters, it's dark, it's cold.
yeah,
Obviously, you're going in with a guide, and whenever you like take this car into the mine, you get out and they do a little tour and teach you. So it's not like you're in there alone.
right.
However, yeah, that that kind of like claustrophobia is like develops later in life, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
So
just yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
one of those things where I grew up not caring about, you know, caves and quicksand and the Bermuda Triangle and earthquakes, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, this is this is a problem. How am I going to avoid these things? Anyway, I do
Right.
think the Pioneer Tunnel is a really neat historical thing you could do.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So switching gears, my next one involves food and
Nice.
the iconic Philly cheesesteak. Now, I know
Mm.
there's like a huge rivalry. I know that people get like Pennsylvanians, so would assume they have a like I guess a gripe with people coming in and being like, "Oh, Pats or Geno's," and because those that was just the long-standing debate. And I'm sure now there are plenty of other cheesesteak places that you can go to, and it might even be a better experience. I don't know, but Pat's King of Steaks and Geno's Steaks. This is a passionate debate in
Mm.
Philadelphia that revolves around the Philly cheesesteak. And Pat's, who's the originator of the cheesesteak in the 1930s, is known for using thinly sliced ribeye and the iconic Whiz Wit, which is cheese whiz with onions. That's the topping.
I
And
learned
then,
about this recently, and that is wild to me. Okay, tell me about
okay,
Geno's. I have
so
so many
just
questions.
first, like, I don't know if your childhood involved cheese whiz. Did it?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
like
yeah,
cheese whiz, Ritz crackers.
absolutely.
Um, so then you have on the other side Geno's Steaks, which is it's literally these two places are located across from each other, like the
Like
original.
on the street.
Yeah, that was like the original,
Yeah.
And so Geno's has like a very similar sandwich. Theirs is kind of thicker, a little bit heartier, and this is just like a huge rivalry that I don't know if, I do think it comes down to personal preference because I'm sure that's just essentially what one is better than the other. I also don't know if it's just like the most genius marketing idea that's ever come to be,
Right.
where maybe let's open up two rival stands and then just both will sell out. But yeah, this is
Okay.
pretty much
So how would you order your cheesesteak? I hear that's a thing. Like there's a way
yeah.
to do it, and locals do it best, obviously. But how would you order if you were to get one?
I would probably try to make it as classic as possible.
Okay.
Just to like start it out with, I would do the ribeye. I would probably do the cheese whiz with onions. See, because for me, it's a little bit different growing up in New Jersey because we had our big thing was sausage and peppers. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
sausage, peppers, onions, a little bit of cheese, and maybe some
Yeah.
potatoes thrown in the mix. So I kind of would want to add some of that in, but I don't know if I'm going to get kicked out of Philadelphia.
Anytime I anytime I imagine a cheesesteak, I'm thinking, yeah, like some sort of like ribeye, but then like a white cheese, so like provolone or American or
Mm,
something. I my brain breaks thinking of this Whiz Wit and like how you would order
yeah.
it, and because one of our coworkers, we were doing the YouTube series of Talk Like a Local, and she taught me all about Whiz Wit, and I broke my brain.
Mm,
I haven't even looked up a picture. I can't understand it yet. So,
yeah.
but I want to try the original. I want to order it the right way. I
Yes.
just want to give it a go.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I would love for anybody that's listening to this right now, please write in, text us, email us. We're leaving
Yeah.
all of our details in the show notes. I want to know Pat's or Gino's or somewhere else, because we'll always leave that door open. But Pat's or Gino's, just let
Absolutely.
us know and tell us why, because I really
Please.
want to find out.
Yeah. I can't even tell you the last time I had a cheesesteak, but it sounds amazing right now. I would love one. Let's see. Let's talk about Yuengling. You are a connoisseur of fine adult beverages, are you not?
Yes, I am.
So do you enjoy Yuengling?
I want to say for the purpose of this podcast, yes, but Yuengling's good. I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be my first choice, but I did actually have a Yuengling a couple weeks ago after I was done mowing the lawn because we had a house party and somebody brought one over. Well, not just one. That would be weird.
Here's a singular bottle of beer. Enjoy this.
Thanks for inviting me. Here's one bottle of beer. So we had it in the fridge, and I was like, and at first, I like a good amber beer. There's something about Yuengling that I think is a little sweet, but maybe that's me. What about you? Do you like Yuengling?
So, Yuengling in Ohio was one of those, whenever I was like coming of age and growing up, it was like the, oh God, need to have, want to have. You can't get it in the state. You had to travel to go get it. Kind of like how, sorry, Coors was back in the day of like, oh, that's a Western beer. We can't get, I mean, it's Coors. But, so yeah, people would always like really wanted it. My brother would, in his college buddies, would go get some and bring it back, and it's always a big deal. Not necessarily my thing. I am a little bit of a particular person when it comes to beer itself. So like I like, sour as goes is typical kind of thing. But it's okay. I don't mind it. I think it has great history. It's the nation's oldest brewery, so that's very cool. I would go visit. And it's in Pottsville, PA. So there is a museum, a gift shop, the brewery. You can take a tour. It was established in 1829, so it's been around for a while. And yeah, it's one of the largest craft breweries in the nation, if not the largest. So I would go and visit just for that reason. It's not my style, but I would go and have a tasting. Why not? I think that would be cool.
I think factory tours are cool no matter what. Even if, you've been to a couple different beer factory tours, I always have a good time.
Yeah.
Because I've been to the Rogue Brewing in Oregon. I've done the Budweiser in St. Louis. But yeah, I feel like it's always fun to just learn about different brewing techniques and I don't know.
Yeah, and they all do it a little bit differently and a different kinds of scale. So I think it's really cool. But yeah, in Pottsville, PA, you can visit the Yuengling Brewery.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay,
so my next one happens to be Hershey, Pennsylvania, the chocolate capital of the world. This is this town. So there's a town, there's a park. It's just like all in one go. But the town is the birthplace of Hershey's chocolate, and it's just fun. I feel like if you have kids, I would say definitely take them. There's something about visiting Hershey Park as a kid that just like blew my mind because first of all, even if you're not a chocolate fan, there's tons of different candies there. It's like a like a lower level Willy Wonka chocolate factory kind of thing.
But without the disappearing children, you just have tons of chocolate and fun.
It's way more regulated. But it's just a fun amusement park. And I don't know about how it is now, but I know when I went, you really could smell the chocolate, which I think it was such a fun. Yeah.
Do you think they pipe that in? Like, is it artificial chocolate smell or is it natural?
Yeah, I don't know, but it just
That's
like
awesome.
made the whole experience. And you could go to Hershey Park, go to Hershey Gardens, go to the Hershey Museum, and yeah, it's just I don't know. I would love to hear from people that are in the area if you could still smell the chocolate in the air, because I need to
That's
know.
awesome. I mean, that's genius marketing, if anything, if it's not real. So,
Yes.
like how Las Vegas casinos just like have all of the perfumed air coming in, like, no, please stay. It's AC. Um, I will say I've never been to Hershey Park. I wanted to go. So I mean Hershey World, Hershey Park, all the stuff. And but for some reason growing up, one of our Christmas ornament sets were the Hershey Park like little like I don't know if it's from like the 80s or something, but these like little figurines with like little chocolate pieces that I
Hmm.
always thought just looked so delicious and I wanted to eat, but they were not edible, sadly. Um, as a child, I found that out. But anyway, yeah, I've always wanted to go. So cool. Okay. I think next I am going to talk about Hawk Mountain.
Cool.
Yeah. So Hawk Mountain, which is in Kempton, PA, it is known as the world's first refuge for birds of prey. It's a 2,600 wildlife sanctuary, 2,600 acre wildlife sanctuary in Pennsylvania, and they do conservation education. They do tours. They have sometimes like these like events with birds of prey and bald eagles and things. But more importantly, every year they gather to kind of like watch for hawks. So basically, right now, you can go to the North Lookout from now until December to take in views of the mountain and the hawk migrations. So they really take it seriously too. This raptor migration, they're on hawk watch. Like you go out and you
Hmm.
just are birding and learning about raptors of North America. And yeah, it's really awesome. Go up to
Cool.
Hawk Mountain and one, great views, two, bird watching,
Yeah.
and yeah, you might be able to take in some really cool events too. So I think that's awesome.
That is cool. I know that bird watching is very big down here in Florida. And I can only imagine up north. I'm sure there's just, I would say, from migration purposes, they would have a wider influx of different varieties of birds.
Yeah, and even
But
bald eagles.
yeah.
There's I actually started. I don't know when. Maybe it's like during the pandemic, but I started watching that bald eagle pair that's in like I think it's out in maybe like Lake Tahoe or something. No, Bear Mountain or something. And they just have this live cam streaming constantly of this mated pair of bald eagles. And
Hmm.
I love it. And I think I would love to go to Hawk Mountain and just look for little friends. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think it'd be
Pretty
awesome.
cool. Nice. Well, my final one also has to do with nature. It is the scenic wonder known as the Delaware Water Gap. And like I said, growing up in Hackettstown, New Jersey, Delaware Water Gap is it runs along the border of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And this is the place to go. I feel like it's one of those things where if you ever see, because there's like a congruence of the mountains and then the sun sets like right in between it.
Okay.
Um, there's just cliffs. Whenever you're driving into Pennsylvania, you see people like rock climbing and bouldering. There are hiking trails. Again, people are whitewater rafting. There are a lot of lower level rapids, fishing, bird watching, and yeah, you can kayak, you can hike in the area. There are tons of different overlooks, and it's just a really great way to get outside, be in nature, and really, really just beautiful area overall.
That's awesome. I think I've passed by signs of it because I would like drive through PA to, go east, but yeah, Delaware was it Water Gap?
Yeah.
Is a gap that kind of like formation to where like two mountains come together? Is that like a normal thing that okay.
Yeah, and then the river runs through it. Um, so yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Um my final location is interesting. I would love to visit. It's the Pagoda in Reading, Pennsylvania, and it was built over a century ago in 1908. And it was originally intended to be a luxury hotel, and it was supposed to resemble the pagodas of castles in Japan. And it just never really, I don't think ever came to fruition as a hotel, but you can go visit. It's on the south end of Mount Penn, and it's anchored to the mountainside, and it's just absolutely gorgeous and just stands out. It's kind of like one of those, not really an oddity, but like, why is this here in the middle of Pennsylvania? This is fascinating. This giant pagoda. You can actually do some bird watching there as well. I saw they had some notes on hawk watch. So if you want to take in some birding, you can go there. I saw that right now there were some notices about temporarily closed, but it looks like you can visit. So just make sure to check the website to get visiting hours. But yeah, the pagoda is really cool. And if you're not familiar with what that kind of structure is, it is like a tiered building with different, different levels and little like, I wouldn't say like scallop roofs. Like, I'm not sure how to accurately describe it, but it's just a cool giant structure that you need to see for yourself and is very reminiscent of Japan. So, you can swing by there. I will say my runner up was going to, I mean, the home of Puxatawny Phil, Gobblers Knob. Is that how you say it? Is that it? Okay. But I just feel like we talk about it every year. We always talk about not the man, but the little groundhog, the whistle pig. So yeah, why don't you head to Gobbler's Knob, where I think there is actually a gift shop and a little museum all about Puxatawny Phil. And if you're not familiar with Mr. Phil, he predicts whether or not what is it, 6 weeks of winter?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if we're gonna. So.
Yeah, poor guy gets yanked from his little hole there, and he's struggling to wake up and then see a shadow, and he's like, the sun.
And like all these photographers, and it all. As a child, I thought they would actually go out into the wilderness and find a groundhog and be like, okay, we're going to see what they do. But no, they're just plopping this little guy into a fake tree and then taking him out.
Yep.
I think the magic has been lost, but still might be worth visiting.
Yes. No, definitely. That was one of my favorite movies too, growing up with the.
Yeah.
What a gem.
Absolutely. Did you see the theory about that one man? I forget the name of the character, where he said, "Watch out, the steps a doozy." Where he steps in the water. There was some. I love like random fiction theories, but like how he's the devil or something because he's the one orchestrating this torture for him.
Interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah. Please do.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well. Yeah, so that I feel like we hit a couple of really great spots, and we're going to include a ton more places to visit, essential road trip stops in Pennsylvania in our map. And that map we are going to put into our Only in Your State article, also drop it in the show notes, so you can customize your own trip and pick and choose. It's like a choose your own adventure in Pennsylvania.
Yep. I will say that the map and the companion article is going to have a lot more information. This is like our audio version is a bit of a tease. If you really want to see all that there is to do, check out the passport, check out the map, and just kind of, build your own itinerary, like you said. So,
yeah, and the playlists you're churning out are, love them. Love
I'm
that.
excited.
Can't have a road trip without a playlist. I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like Ohio and Michigan, just to give you insight, the playlist that I'm curating for these road trips are based on the state that they're in. So either was the music produced there? Is the artist from there? Is there something that's just like related to the state? So we'll try and get a good one out for Pennsylvania and see how we feel about it.